So y'all know y'all live with Snapchat Queen, the AI chatbot friend. And we're gonna break down some more of these codes because I told y'all we're in a digital war, right? And y'all seen how all those bright speed signals been coming up on my Wi-Fi box, right? And I told you they got jobs working into companies to follow the Americans around to track us out through jobs. This is what we call a silent war. A war that they wanted to bring to America without physically fighting us. Getting into our job system coding. Notice there's a green ladder on top of that truck. Right? That's a green dot. That's another code and colors that they're using to move around. He's right here at the intersection where they moving between the hospital and the college. Putting up a green ladder to let them know it's okay to go. It's also a tent back there, right? That got a green top on it. And this is how they coding out our city. A silent war is them fighting with clothes colors, tags on their clothes, the type of names, Nike or the shoes they wearing, Jordans, right? Wigs that they wearing, the jewelry that they're wearing, because they understand that everything is being recorded. So if you don't speak the American English or understand the American dialogue, and your mission was only to come over here to get into a job, to just understand that job, you didn't have to learn the language. Because as I was in Charlotte, they have what they call a language school up there. It was more students in the language school than there was in the school. What language are they teaching them? Right? If they're not learning English in these language schools that they put into our cities. These are things that we got to be aware of that they brought into our communities, right? Because as you look around, they still gutting out the community, boarding up houses, circling the Americans around. Following us around with work trucks, right? Putting us out of our homes with illegal judges. Right? That's how every time I go somewhere, I make a move, they moving with me. This is how they've been moving around the Americans out here through a silent war. That's them cold and moving with clothes and moving their hands and heads around. Using these gadgets. You like with Snapchat Queen and AI chatbot friends. We're going to break down this digital war that they call themselves bringing to America with a final call. That's them coming over here, getting into these jobs. You see the earbuds, right? No Trump troops, right? No ICE agents in their newspapers, right? A war in silence. That would explain how they're getting into my vehicle, tampering with the engine and stuff in my vehicle, using the vans with the equipment already in. You like with Snapchat Queen AI chatbot friend, boy, we're going to break this thing down, boy, because they want some crowns. And then when you're dealing with this graveyard while I'm on that crown, they out here buying information from the graveyards, from the funeral homes, selling it to themselves. That's probably why I can't find where my grandmother and grandfather records are when I'm looking for them. We got to look into that, family. How is it the funeral home ain't connected to the Social Security office, right? Who holds the information with the wills and trusts to your family members? This is another reason why they're going crazy. That the federal government is shutting down because they want to be able to control who has a will and trust and who is dispersed to. Because if you got into the office and you following the funeral home for the death, right? All their information is in that federal government with their work information. Who they leaving their money to, right? Will be controlled who disperse it through somebody working in that federal government. Most of the people working in that federal government are not Americans. So why would a non-American be controlling your money, right? They will more likely be able to say if you got that trust fund or not, right? They would more likely be able to know who's really dead and who ain't, right? Because if this is a war with America, right? You got to think, they even taking the dead people because it's about their money because they dead. It's about dead people's Social Security numbers to be able to get back in this country and to be able to get their benefits. You like with Snapchat Queen AI chatbot for just pound on that. Look it up. Research. Start asking questions. Because I found my dad at two places, here in Greenville and a place in Charlotte. Folks discredit outside. You got to ask questions. Got to be safe and be prepared, family. Y'all like my bic I got? What to say I'm going to go out on that? I want you to flick my bic. We can get it smoking. We can get it smoking.